Picture two people who earn almost exactly the same salary. They live in the same city, pay similar rent, and face the same rising prices at the grocery store. Yet, 10 years later, one has built a healthy financial cushion, while the other still checks their bank balance before every purchase. Most people assume the difference must be income. Maybe one got lucky, maybe one had a better job. But in many cases, the real difference is much smaller and much more surprising. It isn't how much they earn. It isn't even how much they save. It's what happens after they save it. And that's the real reason so many people's savings never seem to grow. Most of us are taught one simple rule from childhood. Save your money. Put it in the bank. Don't spend everything you earn. It's good advice, but it's incomplete. Saving money protects you from emergencies, but saving alone rarely creates wealth. Somewhere along the way, many people started believing that simply watching the number in their savings account slowly increase was the finish line. In reality, it's only the starting point. Think about someone who proudly saves $200 every month. They're disciplined. They skip unnecessary purchases. They resist impulse buying. At the end of the year, they've built a respectable savings balance. It feels like progress, and in many ways it is. But while that money sits quietly in a traditional savings account, something else is happening that most people never think about. Every day, prices are changing. Groceries cost a little more, rent goes up, insurance becomes more expensive, even your morning coffee quietly gets pricier over time. Your money may be staying the same, but what that money can actually buy is slowly shrinking. This invisible force has a name: inflation. Most people think inflation only matters when the news talks about rising prices, but inflation is working every single year, whether headlines mention it or not. Imagine leaving an ice cube on a kitchen counter. You don't notice it melting minute by minute, but come back a few hours later and it's noticeably smaller. Savings work the same way when they aren't growing faster than inflation. The number in your account might never go down, but its purchasing power slowly melts away. Now here's where psychology enters the story. Human beings love certainty. A savings account feels safe because the number rarely goes backward. Watching a stable balance gives our brains a sense of control. Investing, on the other hand, feels uncomfortable. Prices move up and down. Some days your investments are worth more, other days they're worth less. Even though long-term investing has historically rewarded patience, our brains often treat temporary declines as permanent danger. We're wired to avoid losses far more strongly than we're motivated to seek gains. This is why so many people unknowingly choose comfort over growth. They tell themselves they'll start investing when they have more money, or when the economy improves, or after the next paycheck. But those perfect conditions rarely arrive. Months become years, years become decades, and the opportunity to let time do the heavy lifting quietly slips away. Time is the most valuable ingredient in building wealth, yet it's the one thing nobody can buy back. Imagine planting two identical trees. One is planted today, the other is planted 5 years later. Both receive the same care and the same sunlight. The only difference is time. Years later, the first tree towers over the second, not because it was treated differently, but because it simply had a longer chance to grow. Money behaves in a remarkably similar way. This is where compound growth begins to change everything. Imagine you invest $100. It earns a return. The following year, you're no longer earning returns only on your original $100. You're earning returns on the previous gains as well. Then those gains begin producing their own gains. At first, the difference feels tiny. It's almost invisible. Many people quit during this stage because it feels like nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, momentum is quietly building. Think of a snowball resting at the top of a snowy hill. The first push takes effort. For several seconds, it barely grows at all. It's small enough to fit in your hands. But as it keeps rolling, it collects more snow. Eventually, it becomes so large that it grows faster without you pushing any harder. Investing follows the same pattern. In the beginning, your contributions matter most. Later, your existing money begins doing more of the work than your monthly deposits. Here's the mistake that traps so many savers. They focus almost entirely on how much they can save each month, but almost never ask where those savings are working. Imagine hiring 100 employees and asking them all to sit in an empty office doing absolutely nothing. You'd still be paying them, but they wouldn't be creating any value. Idle money behaves the same way. It has potential, but potential alone doesn't create growth. Money has to be given a job. That doesn't mean every dollar should be invested. Emergency savings are essential, Unexpected medical bills, job loss, or urgent repairs are exactly why cash reserves exist. Financial security begins with having money that's immediately available when life surprises you. But once that safety net is in place, allowing every additional dollar to sit idle often becomes one of the most expensive financial decisions people make. Not because it feels expensive today, but because of everything that money could have become over the next 10 or 20 years. There's another psychological trap hiding beneath the surface. Many people believe investing is only for wealthy individuals. They picture people in expensive suits buying stocks worth thousands of dollars. That image stops countless beginners before they even start. In reality, modern investing has become more accessible than ever. Many platforms allow people to begin with surprisingly small amounts. The biggest barrier is rarely the amount of money. It's believing you need far more than you actually do. The deeper lesson isn't really about investing, it's about identity. People who successfully build wealth stop seeing themselves as people who merely save money. They begin seeing themselves as owners, owners of investments, owners of businesses, owners of assets that can continue producing value long after today's paycheck has been spent. That shift changes how every financial decision is made. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" they begin asking, "Is this the best job for my money?" Once that question becomes a habit, almost everything starts to look different. A luxury purchase isn't just its price tag anymore. It's also the years of future growth that money might have generated. A bonus at work becomes an opportunity rather than simply extra spending money. Even small amounts begin to feel important because every dollar becomes another worker helping build your future. This doesn't mean you should never enjoy your money. Life isn't about saving every penny or refusing every pleasure. Wealth isn't built through guilt, it's built through intentional decisions. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. Small investments made month after month often outperform occasional large investments driven by emotion, because consistency keeps you in the game long enough for time to work its magic. And perhaps that's the biggest misunderstanding of all. Most people think wealth comes from finding the perfect investment or predicting the next big opportunity. But history tells a different story. The people who quietly build lasting wealth are usually the ones who started early, stayed patient, ignored the noise, and allowed ordinary decisions to compound into extraordinary results. So if your savings never seem to grow, don't immediately assume you need a bigger paycheck. Ask a different question instead. Is your money simply sitting there, or is it actually working for you? Because the goal isn't to collect dollars. The goal is to create a system where every dollar you earn has a chance to earn another one. In the end, your savings account is a tool, not a destination. It protects you, but it won't build your future by itself. Real wealth begins when your money stops waiting and starts working. The sooner you understand that, the sooner time becomes your greatest financial advantage instead of your biggest missed opportunity.